Whether I'm the one playing support or I'm watching someone else play support, I noticed there's a running theme. Whenever a tank has a hard time doing their job or a DPS has a hard time doing their job, the first ones that they go to is the support. Why aren't you healing? Support diff, support sucks, etc, etc. It's always the support. That's what we're gonna talk about today. Let's talk supports. Now there's 2 points that I wanna hit in this video. The first point is going to be the healing problem. So if you've ever played support, no doubt you've had a tank or a DPS that goes fighting for a little bit, get low, and then they run to you and just like sit, whether it's in cover or out of cover, they sit, turn their camera and look at you pinging heals. Just basically pressing pause on the entire game until you heal them. Now, the worst part about it is you have been healing them, they just aren't being healed to the efficiency that they would like. Now, if you're a tank player, you're not gonna remain at 100% HP, and if you're playing something like Thor or the Hulk, you're most likely not gonna remain above 50% HP. That's just how it is. This doesn't mean your support's gonna let you KO, you just cannot expect to be at such a high HP percentage when you're going in there 1v6ing. It's impossible. No support does it, especially if they have a limited range. As a tank, you need to understand how to play with your healers. Some healers can't heal a lot at one time. Some healers can. Some healers can't aim in a certain direction. Some healers can. It is up to you as a tank and a ranked player, if you're playing ranked, to understand and adapt to every single healer that you have. If you have a Mantis trying to heal you, it's not going to be as potent as an Invisible Woman. They do not work that way. Every healer heals differently. Every healers have their strengths and weaknesses. It is up to you, if you want to be a good player, to understand this. It is not up to you to decide who and why to flame someone because you're not playing well yourself. That's not how this works. DPS players, I'm specifically talking to the ones that like to move around a lot. Spider-Man, Black Panther, Iron Fist, you guys know the characters that like to move around a ton, even flying characters. Let me peep some game for you real quick. Let me share it with you. When you guys are playing these fast moving characters, again, Spider-Man, Black Panther, or like flying characters, you're moving around a lot to do what? Avoid being shot by the enemy team. Okay, no, I'm glad you understand where we're coming from with this. If your healer is a projectile-based healer, something like Jeff, something like Invisible Woman, these characters, Luna Snow is another example, these characters that need to aim at you to heal you, okay? Follow me, I know sometimes you're a little bit antsy, follow me. You're doing something to dodge being shot. If your healers need to shoot you to heal you, what do you think you're doing to your healers? Now you could say, well, Poppin', they just need to aim better. Or you can be a better player and adapt to who you're playing with. It doesn't even matter. Even high-ranking players, even players in One Above All, have a very hard time aiming and hitting Spider-Man, aiming and hitting Black Panther. It is impossible to hit some of these characters with primary fire. They are literally designed to be hard to hit. Once again, this type of behavior leads to the support being flamed for not keeping you healthy. I don't even understand why some players like sit there and ping when there's a health pack like 2 feet away. Bro, do you not know where all the health packs are? If you're a DPS player, especially something that likes to move around a lot, you better know where every single health pack is in this entire game. You better know where the health packs are before Marvel Rivals even reveals the next map. I'm trying to tell you, that is your job. Flaming your support not only makes it so that they're gonna play worse, but it also makes it so that your team starts flaming them as well. Every single one. Because this is basically the mob mentality. We all just like to figure out someone to blame, and then we just blame that one person to make everybody else feel better. This is a very toxic environment. So rounding out my first point, the healing problem, players, please understand that not every healer heals the same. Not every healer can actually hit you if you're moving too quickly. The best thing you can do, and this is coming from someone who's played in all the ranks, you need to figure out who your healer is, and you need to figure out how much they heal. I'm not talking about knowing the specific numbers, but knowing if they are a burst healer, knowing if they are a healer with high cooldowns, knowing if they are a healer that heals over time. If I'm playing with a Mantis, I need to play a little slower. If I'm playing with the Adam Warlock, I can kind of go ham. If I'm playing with an Invisible Woman, it's kind of dependent on maybe does she have her shield up or not? Is she positioned in a good spot to heal me? A lot of the times, you guys really don't realize that your healers will go out of their way to heal you and get KO'd repeatedly for doing it. Then you blame your healers for being bad at the game or being bad at healing. Bro, if they are literally getting out of position for you, what does that say about your gameplay? Moving on to the second point that I want to hit in this video, this is called the lack of skill. Basically, when people consider support just brain dead or stupid or whatever. Not my words, just other people's words. This is like without a doubt just incorrect. Every role in this game is required to have skill to climb the ladder. You don't just climb with no skill. And I know there's gonna be those comments that say, well, if you play Rocket, you could just sit there and just shoot. You need skill to be that type of Rocket. Yeah, it kind of is, you're not doing damage, but you need to understand that the higher you get, the more people are gonna focus that Rocket. And the more people that focus that Rocket, the better the Rocket needs to be at running away. Every freaking character in this game, every role in this game requires skill. Some of the players really need to get off their high horse because there is no such thing as a brain dead character or a skillless role. And this is not even just to Marvel Rivals, this is to all games with support in them. People think support is just the you just press one button and that's all you do, ha ha ha. No, it is not. DPS is you press one button and that's all you do. I don't know if you know this, but DPS requires the least amount of game knowledge to be successful. What do tanks do? Tanks require a lot of things. Awareness, understanding how to create and take space, understanding how to move with your team, understanding a whole host of things. What does the support need to do? Awareness, understand when the tank's doing something, why the tank's doing something, helping the DPS, understanding why they're doing something, when to go in, things like that. But what does a DPS have to do? I don't know, I just KO people. Yes, you do. You just go KO people and that is what your job is. There is no other job to you. Now, obviously, other players can adapt, and if they need to peel their support, they'll help their support. If they need to play a certain way, you know, they can, but that's player specific. If you look at DPS on any game, your main focus is to do damage. So the fact that there is a notion, especially from DPS players, that think support is just skillless is beyond me. I don't even understand where that comes from. If you're a high-ranking DPS, you understand there's less jobs to your role than the other two, period. Now, yes, some of the support characters, or even most of them, are less physically demanding than a DPS character, but so are tanks. So are melee tanks. People sometimes specifically play melee tanks because they can't aim. Does that mean that they suck? No, it just means they don't prefer to aim. It is what it is. If you are a one above all Captain America or a one above all Hulk, your skill level should be that of equivalent to a one above all Strange. It may be in different areas, you know, your skill may be a little bit more over there than it is over there when you're comparing Strange to the Hulk, but as a player in general, you understand on the same level. So this means that if you play support, you should technically understand on the same level of everybody else in your rank. Now, supports, I love y'all. I'm not a support main, so don't even be like, Poppin', you're a support main. This is why I play all roles, okay? I've climbed all ranks with all roles. That's how I do. I want to make sure that I do everything and understand everyone's perspective before I make content. So don't even at me with that nonsense. But I will say, some support players do only play with specific people, and those specific people hinder how much growth that support player has. If you have a pre-made of 4 people and you're a supporting for your friends and you climb the rank, you're doing less work than a true solo ranking support player because you have friends to rely on. Does that mean you suck at support or support players are horrible? No, but that does mean your skill difference is completely different than someone who's climbed solo. So that is a case-by-case basis, not a whole group of supports wrapped into one. Moving on to the third point, this is what I like to call the experiment. So from rank bronze to one above all, when I play with these players, I did an experiment. What I would do whenever anybody flames me on support, I would say, since you can do it better, let's swap. I'll do your role, you do mine. Now, as I said before, if you guys know, I climbed every single role respectively. Each role has their account. I've climbed them. I spent time on all 3 roles. Equally, I am fundamentally the same with all 3 roles, so I can play anything. This is why I thought this experiment would be fun. I did this, and I'm gonna say 9 times out of 10, the person wouldn't swap. I would do this with the tanks, and I would do this with the DPS. And again, bronze to one above all, 9 times out of 10, they do not swap. They just either shut up and they don't type anymore, or they'll just change the subject and just whine about another player. It happened. Literally whine about another player because they got nothing to say to me anymore. This is sad. If you have the audacity to flame a specific role or a character that you have in your game, you better be able to do that role or play that character better than what you're flaming. There are definitely times where I see a tank struggling and I'm like, hey, you can support and I'll tank. I don't flame them for it, I just ask. And they're like, yes, please. And I'll tank for them and we'll end up winning the game. That has happened. But I will never flame someone because they're playing poorly. I will ask them if they want to swap, and most of the time they'll be like, yeah, I don't play this role. So circling back to the experiment, it is sad that 9 times out of 10, the players in each rank do not want to swap roles. And I will say the people that complain and flame the supports the most don't play support or do not like playing support. That right there is a dead giveaway. The fact you don't even understand how support works, especially if you're a high-ranking player, means you have no say-so in what your support is doing because you do not understand what is going on. You don't understand the struggles. You don't understand how their kit works. You don't understand how the character's played. Yes, you can feel like you're an amazing player because you're a DPS that plays either Spider-Man or Black Panther and you're so mechanical. Yes, maybe you feel like you're a god player because you're playing Magneto and he's big-brained and yeah, but if you're unwilling to swap and prove that you're just a better support player in general and that you understand how to play support properly, you don't have the right to flame anybody, period. Now, the reason I'm making this video isn't to complain. Maybe it is a little bit, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but I'm making this video to just acknowledge the fact that support players do a lot more than you think, and unless you play that role, you don't know. This game has a lot of characters that are very oppressive, very snowbally, very hard to deal with. And the fact that you don't understand what's going on with your supports, but you decide to flame them is a little bit ridiculous, especially if you're not wanting to swap and prove that you're a better player than the other support is. So no matter what the rank is, please do not flame honestly, do not flame anybody. I don't even know why I have to say support specifically. Don't flame anybody. Be a human being. Be a good human being and literally work with your team like you're supposed to do it. But just because this is a support video, do not flame your support. Okay, people don't want to play support because people don't want to be flamed. And if I'm being flamed as a player playing in a low rank, being objectively better than everybody in that lobby, it goes to show you're flaming for no reason. At this point, you are having a bad day, you're playing horribly, and you know what? You look at the support and you're like, I'm getting KO'd, it's definitely your fault. It's not mine, no, because if I had more HP, I wouldn't KO. I mean, yes, that's true, but like, bruh, I don't even know where to even, you know what? You're on timeout with that type of response. So please, at the end of the day, treat everyone with respect. Yes, there is a wide difference between I climb because I'm playing with my friends versus I climb by myself. Those two supports, the skill differences are pretty massive. But if you ever get someone on your team that you may feel isn't belonging in your rank, or you feel that just isn't living up to your support standards, play a little bit slower. It is not that your support sucks, it's that your support may not understand how to play at that pace. This is the same thing for every single role. Even in high ranks, some tanks don't know how to pressure properly. They play really, really slow. And so as a support, if you're a really good one, you sometimes have to kind of walk with the tank to let them know it's all right. Every role has a way to influence the other roles. So instead of being the person that complains and whines and just flames for no reason and just being an all-out bad apple and making everyone's experience horrible, why don't you just be the better player and play better, then carry everybody else, and then not play with these guys ever again because you're in a higher rank than they are? Why don't you just do that? It's just an idea. If you made it this far into the video, congratulations, give yourself a round of applause. I wanted to do another segment at the end of these videos where I like to call it #Let'sTalk. So what we're gonna do is in the comments, I want you to write #Let'sTalk. If you have a question or a comment, whether it be about this particular video that you're watching or just whatever else in Marvel Rivals, do that if you want to ask that question. I kind of want the video to be more transactional. I want to be able to connect with you guys a little bit more so that way we can have these conversations and stuff like that and bring more of the community into your questions or your comments. So if you want to be part of that, #Let'sTalk, just do what I just said, right? #Let'sTalk in the comments, ask your question, say your comment, and you could be featured in the next video. Also, if you want to see a specific topic visited, just let me know in the comments. Hey, Poppin', I want you to talk about this, and I can see if I can make a video about that. Thank you guys for watching. At the end of the day, again, please be respectful to everyone you play with. No one wants to play a game to be abused. You play the game to have fun. Even if it's ranked, it is to have fun. Adapt your playstyle if you want to become a better player instead of complaining and whining. Especially if you're already a high rank player, please get off that high horse. Please quit being so egotistical. You are not the best thing known to man. You're in a rank with everybody else that deserves to be in the exact same rank as you. So treat everyone with respect, and we can have a way better time playing this game than any other game in the world. At least in my opinion. Look, I love this game. This is my game. Until next time, you know what I always say. Think you guys are doing what? Poppin' often with Lofton.